everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and I'm here with my official review for Dragon Ball Super Episode 39. But of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now, of course, last week's episode was amazing, it was fantastic, it was spectacular. There's not enough words in this planet that we call Earth that I can continue to call out names to pretty much tell you how much I appreciate last week's episode. However, this was the episode I was looking forward to. This was the episode I was most hyped for, and it was also the episode I was most scared for. And what I mean by scared is that this, realistically, if you look at it in these kind of point of views and terms, this is the first original saga, and this is also the first original final boss battle for Dragon Ball Super in comparison to Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, which are just recaps of the original movies Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. So, this was a battle and a fight that is completely original, that it's not existing in a pre-franchise and or movie and or manga. So this is something that I really was hoping that Toei Animation knocks out of the park and hopefully does not fuck up on. And does it fuck us up? Does it do that? Or is it epic? Well, to a large degree, it's very epic in the battles of Goku versus Hit, which is where it definitely needs the count. But it also does kind of fuck up, I'm not going to lie. There are certain negatives in this episode that I do have in this episode, granted. But they're out in the behind the scenes, more or less just stuff to filler time to really in between the battles of Goku versus Hit. So, in the long run, this episode 39 is awesome. I like it. I personally think it's an awesome, epic, badass episode. Goku versus Hit was epic, but I do have certain negatives. However, my positives overgrow and overthrow my negatives. So in the long run, I do love this episode. But let's get into that right now. The negatives. Negatives with this episode, the big thing that really bothers me about episode 39 that really are negatives has to be how much filler time they fill out in this episode. It's very obvious when Toei Animation is just buying time and just wasting time so they can just have a full episode and move on to the next episode that they want to work on. And that really bothers me because it's like, just make up. I feel like that's the wrong way to go when you're doing a serialized TV show. You have to focus not on the bigger picture. Granted, the bigger picture is what really matters, but you have to focus on each individual episode to make sure they're all as equally better than the last episode. So you have to work on each one as much as possible to make sure you make the best episode possible. And when you just waste time with characters not really doing anything, long stretches of time when no one says anything, and just letting background music play out, and wasting time with flashbacks that we've already seen, it really annoys the heck out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I hate it when Toei Animation does that with Dragon Ball Super. It's just annoying. It's like, it's just so obvious. Like, I get it. You're trying to waste time. You're just trying to, like, you know, have characters power up for like 12 minutes just so we can get to the next scene. I get it, but it's really annoying. At least have a character, you know, do something impressive behind the scenes or in the background where we can freaking be entertained when a character's not doing or saying anything important. So that's something that bothers me with this episode. Another major thing is the animation artwork. Goku vs. Hit, every section of the battles are amazingly animated, and the artwork is slick and awesome and very bold. However, there are certain moments where it does get a little flubbed here and there, and there are certain moments where, not specifically in the battle or the fight, where the animation artwork just looks straight up ugly. And I will admit, it does bother me. However, there are other moments in this episode that are truly amazing that obviously overthrow the negatives. So I'm going to let it pass. But with that being said, let's get into the major positives with this episode. The episode was epic and badass of biblical proportions. Goku vs. Hit was awesome. It was basically the fight that we all deserved and we all got. It was freaking awesome. Hit was kicking Goku's ass. Hit has so many cool abilities, and the way he just dominates Goku is just awesome. I mean, like, he's a competitor. He's a competitor. And Goku, I think, basically this episode just proves how great of a character he truly is. I mean, like, I said it last week and I'll say it again. Goku, he's silly, he's comedic, he's childlike, he's a giant child in a man's body. However, you can say those things about him. You can say those negative, horrible things about him. Sure. However, the great thing about him that makes him an amazing fictional fighter, an amazing fictional character, is the way he battles, the way he fights, the way he learns, and the way he freaking backs out of a corner and kicks some freaking ass and learns new things along the way. And that's what this episode is. It's basically in the title, as it states, Goku's new technique. And Goku does get a new technique. Now, granted, the title did also kind of scare me because it's like, oh no, we don't need we don't need another transformation. Come on, guys. No! Super Saiyan Blue, just leave it at Super Saiyan Blue. Like, what's next? Super Saiyan Purple? Come on, no! So that was a major problem that I had going into this episode, along with the fights itself. However, it's less of a transformation and just what the episode implies, which is it's a technique, and it's really badass and awesome and a good throwback to a previous technique that we all love and hold dear in our hearts. And it's, of course, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue, as I like to call it. And then, of course, the Kaioken. Yes, the Kaioken has returned and has been fused with Super Saiyan Blue, creating a completely new, epic kind of look to Goku's ki, and it's freaking phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, granted, does it look kind of cheesy? Kinda. I mean, granted, I think they could have came up with a cooler looking ability or technique, but as it stands, it's freaking awesome and epic. I mean, Goku, Super Saiyan Blue, or Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Kaioken was freaking epic as all hell. When it happens, it's awesome. When it's animated, it's awesome. The artwork looked slick as all hell, and it was beautiful to look at. And the battle itself, the second Goku's like hit fucks him up. Hit is literally fucking up Goku. And the second that happens and you think, oh my god, that's it. Universe 7 lost. They're done. He's down for the count. He's not going to win. Goku gets right up as the beautiful son of a bitch he is and fucking says, is that all you got? I'm not done, bitch. Fucking transforms. Fucking powers up. Kaioken that shit. Vegeta looks like an asshole. Like, what the fuck? How'd you do this? What are you doing? Nostalgia rush, motherfucker. Nostalgia rush. He powers up. He transforms into his new technique and starts kicking and whooping up Hit's ass. Kamehameha up that ass. He's kicking, he's dominating, he's beating his ass up, and I love how it looked. It looked so beautiful and awesome. Artwork wise, it was great. Animation was great, and I love the incorporation of the main theme song of Dragon Ball Super into the actual fight of Goku versus Hit in the last 5 minutes. Granted, this episode was great. It was fun. It was entertaining. The background information was interesting. The characters being all like, oh my god, was hilarious. Champa was a little bitch. Awesome. Beerus was freaking out. Awesome. Freaking Hit was kicking Goku's ass. Goku was kicking Hit's ass. Their fight together was epic and awesome. Granted, there are some negatives. There are certain things where along the way in this episode, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it's just wasting time. It kind of annoys me when they do flashbacks. It's just like, don't do that. Stop that. Let's live in real time. I like that more. But the last 5 minutes of this episode, look, I was going to give this episode like a 9, maybe an 8, maybe 9.5 at best. But after those 5 minutes passed, the last 5 minutes of the episode, we got to see Goku versus Hit dominate. Goku, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Kaioken, freaking dominate Hit, and the incorporation of the song, that completely won me over, and I give this an equal godly verdict of last week's. Yes, I give this, my final verdict of this episode is a solid 10 out of 10. I said it, there would be an episode that would overthrow 38, and it was the freaking next episode, ironically enough, of 38, and that was 39, which I consider to be the best episode of Dragon Ball Super's history. Granted, once again, I fucked myself over by saying that there will be more better episodes, and I gave that title last week. However, this is the week where it's at. That last 5 minutes, my god. The second Goku becomes Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Kaioken to the point of the last freaking final theme song of the freaking episode when we get into the credits. Those are like the greatest minutes of fucking my history of a Dragon Ball fan. It was just so fucking awesome. It was epic as all as hell. I freaking died, went to heaven, came back. It was amazing. It was fucking amazing. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much been my personal thoughts on Dragon Ball Super episode 39. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. And of course, let me know what you personally think about Hit versus Goku, the future of these battles, and of course, what's going to happen in the rest of the saga, and what do you expect in future sagas now that we're getting to the end of this saga. Dragon Ball Super episode 39, I loved it, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. With that being said, shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been Josh12.